Margaret Ken Corla, and I welcome the opportunity to speak on this bill. When we talk about a circular economy, the first part of it that I was reading on it, the CCTV and all of that, I welcome that because there's a major problem in a lot of areas with dumping. I do welcome that, and I think that more communities needs to be encouraged and get involved, like this GDPR and all this crack that was going on. That you could have someone on video, but you cannot use it. It's absolutely horrendous, and I think we have to move on from that and resolve that issue. But when we talk about a circular economy, and I looked at some of it in the cups that the person gets in the. If you go in for a cup of tea, you'll pay more. But what about the kettle that boiled it? We have designed kettles at the moment, electric kettles, that they're throwaway. You go into a shop, it works for a few months, the next thing, where do you go to? You bring it and you recycle it, obviously. But that's the make-up of it, where one time ago a kettle, there was an element in it, years ago, and you could screw it out and you could get a new element, and the electric kettle always worked. Pretty, ordinary stuff, and it had no great high technology, but it done the job. And yeah, and we have moved. Go to the washing machine. Go to every part of your house. Go to the washing machine. If you look at the price of a washing machine, or ring someone to come out and go fixing it, you're better put it in the boot of the car or bring it to the recycling place and go to the shop and buy a new one. If we keep that mentality going, then you'll never have a circular economy. We have to go back to basics where great tradespeople, like I remember the black and white television, there was our bulbs in the back of them that they'd come and put it into it, and they'd get it going again for you. You might be without the screen for a day or two, but they'd come and they'd get it up and running. Those tradespeople are gone because the television that was, look at a black and white that time, was £400 or £500, and then we came along and you could buy a telly now for maybe 170 or 80 euro. So what will be done? We have gone down a road of quick product and throw it away. And in actual fact, we're going the same way with cars. You look at cars at the moment. We're going down that road. I come from the agricultural sector. Tractors are going that way. One time ago, we could fix the tractor ourselves with our own hands. Now, you have to get a guy with a laptop, a whiz kid that will come in and charge you an arm and a leg, and you'll be nearly better trade it in and get a different one. That's the way we're gone, and that's going to take a ferocious turnaround to get it back to where we were. And it's not going to be Ireland on its own, it's going to be EU and actually a worldwide effort to do that. On top of that, Minister, and I'm coming to you, and in fairness you have said that you'll give us a meeting, I will acknowledge that, in the construction sector, about 50% of emissions can be got rid of in the construction sector if we do things the way we should do it. At the moment, if I knocked this building and I took all the stone to one side, I cannot recycle it. I'll tell you what happens. I'll bring it to the tip and it ticks the box that it's recycled, cap and a tip. Instead of being able to bring it somewhere, recycle it and use it on a roadway. I'm not saying we put it under houses or buildings, but on roadways, for forestry roads, for farmers' roads, or for motorways. It's not going to do any harm, and we'd be reusing it and recycling it. I would have worked a lot around the country, Minister, doing water jobs, where we dig trenches. So we dig all the soil out, and we bring all the soil away to a tip, and we get the stone from the quarry, and we fill it up to the top. But in actual fact, there's a better system now. It's called soil stabilisation. And if we brought that soil to, say, a quarter of a mile down the road where you'd have a yard, and you can push it in through a machine, and within 12 hours, a 30-ton digger wouldn't be able to dig it. You make it, you stabilise it. You put 2% cement into it, and you put lime in it, and you actually make it stronger than the gear that you would bring from the quarry. And you put a coating on top then, where you'd be using maybe a metre cover. All you need to use is about 100 of stone on top of it. And this is the things that we need to do. But the only problem is, Minister, there are people around the country at the moment that is trying to recycle topsoil and trying to recycle stone, and the council will walk in and say, oh, that's in the waste stuff, that should be gone into a tip. we'll bring you to court if you keep at this. That's the mentality that's there at the moment. And being quite blunt about it, the EPA has done absolutely nothing, only put burdens in front of people. People have gone over the last 2 to 3 years, and I know several of them in the construction business, to try and fit into this thing and go through all the licence procedures, and it costs a lot of money. And they're 2 and 3 years even waiting for the licence in this so-called circular economy to be able to recycle the stone that was used before, or the concrete. Now, someone needs to call a halt to what's going on in the EPA, in my opinion, Minister. And that might sound, strong, but I've watched it over the last few years. You cannot call a product an in-the-waste product if it's concrete that you can recycle. You have to have it under a different terms and conditions. There are things that's in the waste, and I agree with that, but there are certain things that should be used. And just think for 1 minute that 90% of the soil in this city, or 100% of what it's going down now to Longford, and it's going to Offaly, and it's going to Monaghan, it's going all over to tips. Tipped in the field, dozer comes along, pushes it, and then if you have the stone, by the way, then on top of it, you have it capped, and you're recycling. That's our coverage at the moment. But if we turn around and went for that site stabilisation, actually Amazon factory, the new factory here in Dublin, has used it at the moment. There's 10 acres of warehousing and an area outside it. And if we use that, we will reduce our movements of trucks in the country by 90%. That's some statistic. By 90%. We will reduce the carbon in the building sector by at least 50% and maybe more. And these are the innovative things, but the problem is, the machinery for this is not cheap, but the private sector is willing to do it. But the problem is that the state is blocking it no matter what it does. This is bread and butter stuff in Germany. It was done years ago in Germany. But whatever idea we have here, we seem to want to put in stronger, rigorous stuff than even the EU puts in. And now I'm no fan of them, but it's even stronger than them, what we're doing here. And a minister has to grab this by the horns, and basically some of these people that believe that they're on a glory trail or a glory track to saving the planet should look at the simple low-hanging fruit of what we can do. Go back to the likes of the EU on the stuff I mentioned earlier. Where can we improve there? Where can we improve in the building sector with low-hanging fruit? Very simple of what I've talked about. And if we do them things, it's often the simple things that makes the biggest improvement in life. If we do the simple things, we will help. I'm not a big admirer on the bill of, this fines and, I think you bring people with you. If you sit people down and say, well, all your site there, I can leave 90% of all the soil there, and we can build those houses, or we can build that factory, and you know what, it'll save you a lot of money. Well, Jesus, anyone will buy into that, compared with saying, well, we have to send 3,000 lorry loads down the road. And on top of that, it's the traffic congestion and all of that. But look, Minister, I've no objections against your bill whatsoever. But what I'm trying to say to you is that we need to broaden it out. And I acknowledge that you've said, I've stuff got done up and a group that will meet you to show you these innovative things. But it's grand showing it to you, but if there's someone within in some corner in the EPA or something that's hell-bent on blocking something, it goes nowhere. And that's all I'm afraid of, that they're just on their own little world and they need to understand what can be done. We need to embrace what has been done in other countries. And Germany, in fairness, in the building sector, has been miles ahead of most crowds. So all I say is that, look, I've nothing against your bill. I wish you the best, but we need to look at what we can in the low-hanging fruit. Thank you.